Welcome to this video. This is definitely a little different than what I normally do here, but I want you guys to really get to know me and who I am, and I think that entails a lot about my past and my story and how I came to be who I am today. So that's basically what we're going to get into, and you're just going to get to meet me and get to know me. I'm going to be pretty vulnerable with you guys, so I hope you guys are ready for this. So I did have some people on Instagram. I put out a story and had them ask me some questions, anything that they wanted to get to know about me or were curious about. I'm pretty much an open book. Like, there's not really anything that I won't share with people unless it's like dealing with somebody else's story. Then I'm kind of like, I'll touch on what my feelings or what my part of the story was, but I won't really go into detail about their story because it's not mine to tell. So I'm just going to try and sort these questions the best that I can with making them flow, I guess is the best way to say. But hopefully I get to all of them. I'm not going to mention anybody's name just in case they don't want me to. So one of the questions I got was, what was my childhood like? I feel like I had a really good childhood. I grew up, I had my mom and my dad. They've been married for over 30 years now. Well, it's probably 30 years actually. I'm trying to think. Yeah, they've probably been married maybe for longer than that. I don't know. Between 30-35 years they've been married. And I was the oldest. And my sister was born 20 months after me, so she's just short of 2 years younger than me. I had a pretty normal childhood growing up. Nothing really, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, spent a lot of time with cousins because our parents were always working, so our grandparents, watched us. My dad was a firefighter, and he's now a fire marshal for a town that is near us. And my mom used to work for a bunch of different places. She worked at State Farm for, I won't say a bunch of different places, but she worked at State Farm for a while doing insurance things, and then she moved to a local hospital. She would do contracts and stuff like that for doctors and different things, but they actually like got rid of her job and like kind of just let her go. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my mom was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis or MS when I was in high school. That is pretty much a hereditary disease for the most part, and her father had it. He had a different type of a more severe and a different type of MS than she does, which I'm thankful for. But my grandpa, he passed away when I was 3, so I really don't remember much about him, but it has been tough. So she'd probably been diagnosed about 5 years or so when they got rid of her job, and she went on disability, and it got to the point where she couldn't really work anymore. She was very forgetful, and she gets very tired very easily, and so that was something that changed. But yeah, I had a pretty good normal childhood. I did fight with my sister a lot, I feel like, so that part was kind of a little rough. I don't think, like, coming out of high school, going into college, we didn't really have the best relationship. Things were going on with her own, herself, and it did like affect our relationship a little bit. But she ended up moving out of our house when she was 17. And when she was 8, she lived with a friend, and then when she was 18, she started living with my grandma. After that, we kind of, I felt really lonely, and there was things that went on. I had a hard time making friends in school, and I kind of I don't think I actually made true friends until the past few years. So I'm really grateful that, like, I finally have gotten to that point in my life where I can have true friendships and know that what true friendship looks like. And then a lot of stuff went on. For those of you who don't know, I am a Christian, and I went through a hard period in my life where I think I was 20 years old, and I was in school part-time, I was working part-time, and, you know, dealing with a lot of stuff, and it was just like, it felt like my family was already dealing with enough, and things started happening at a church we used to attend, and that was the first time I really understood what church hurt, or things that happened in a church that could hurt someone, like, occurred. And it was really difficult for me to go through, because that was a church that I had been attending since I was born. Those were the people that I knew. Those were people that were considered family members to me, and there was just a lot of things going on, and it kind of pushed me away a little bit. So I kind of started going my own direction for a while, and I stopped going to church, and I just was hanging out with a bunch of people, staying out past midnight. Like, I've stayed out till like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm being very vulnerable here, because this is not something that I'm proud of or like to share, but I was going out, I was drinking a lot, I was getting tipsy, getting drunk, and just kind of pushing the pain down and pretending that everything was fine and that I was happy, because I had people around me who were also hurting, and we kind of just were a woe is me kind of crowd. And I did that. I dropped out of school for a little while and worked full time. I feel like I wasn't motivated to do anything. And then one day I went to a church that I started attending, that I now attend, called Milestones. And I started going there because there was a pastor who preaches there sometimes, and he used to preach at my old church before all of those things happened. This was like way back. So he and his wife were super nice, super sweet, and they're the kindest, most genuine human beings that I know. And they would drop, like, I know that even though they may not know every single thing about me, I know that in a heartbeat they would drop everything they're doing to help me, and to be there for me in any capacity. And so I started going to this church, and I started realizing, like, I'm not happy. Like, I'm not really truly happy, and I am covering up my happiness with things that I'm missing, and I feel empty. And so after I started going back to church, I started getting into it and really connecting with the people there. I have met some amazing people there who I love. I know I've mentioned Frank and Becklin to you guys a lot, and they're girls that I watch, which they've really just become like family. They truly have. Me and Frank are so similar that I feel like he is a brother to me, and I'm just truly thankful for them and their family and all that they have done for me, and they have shown me what true family and friends look like. And I have also been surrounded by a group of girls, which y'all already know, Olivia and Rachel and Elizabeth, who have just, like I have said before, have let me be unapologetically me, and never once like made me feel like I was too much or not enough in friendships with them. And I just feel like I have found my friends and my sisters for life. And my situation with my sister is like getting better, so I truly feel deep in my heart that, like, without Jesus I would not be where I am today. And that's something that I really harp about in my life, because I have had Jesus in my life, and then I pushed him out and pushed him away because of people that hurt me, and that was really hard. But I know what it feels like to be in that emptiness and to be without him, and knowing what it feels like to be with him, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So that was also another question, was what was my faith journey or my faith story. So that's pretty much what that was. And then I'm just gonna get into, that's just me, that's my story and who I am basically. I mean, there's more to the story, but that's basically the gist of it. I am now back in school for occupational therapy assistant. That's the program name. You can go for occupational therapy, but it requires a bit more school. And you don't really do that much more than an occupational therapy assistant. So I am in school for that because I am working part-time as a child care aide for a boy with cerebral palsy, and he really changed my outlook on life and really changed what I felt compelled and called to do. I was in school for radiology, or for a radiologist tech, but I decided to go a different route, and I am thoroughly enjoying it and hoping to be done within no more than 2 years. So that's a really big thing for me and a really big step. I feel like I'm very behind, but I'm also reminded that there's no timeline on my life of when I have to accomplish things and when I have to do things, and I'm just enjoying it and loving what I do. And I, of course, read, and I post here on Booktube, post on bookstagram, and just do my everyday life. Read, work, hang out with family, hang out with friends, talk to friends. So yeah. Also, somebody asked, what are other hobbies you have besides reading? I have recently gotten into diamond painting a little bit. I did some diamond painting coasters, and that was really fun, but I'm trying to get through a diamond painting that I have right now that I was supposed to give my dad for Christmas, but it took a little bit longer than I planned. So that was a little kind of hiccup, but I'm trying to get back into that. I have some more that I really want to do as well, that they just take time. I'm just trying to get back into like the cozy habits or cozy hobbies that I've had before in the past that I just miss doing because I've put so much pressure on myself to read as much or read more than I can. And I'm trying to take this year to like slow down and just enjoy my reads and what I'm reading. And I would rather have like a small amount of books that I have absolutely loved to read this year than a bunch of books that were just like mediocre or okay. So I'm just taking time to like slow down and enjoy the things that I like to do. I really love movies. I love watching movies, especially with friends. I think going to the movies or having movie nights on Teleparty or stuff like that is very fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. I also love hanging out with my cats and everything like that. I also love games as well. Some of the games that I like to play are Sims 4, I like Hogwarts Legacy, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Spiritfarer. I've recently gotten into Phasmophobia and Little Nightmares. I love horror stuff as well, so it's kind of hard because I have like one side of me that's like cozy fantasy vibes that I love, and then I have the horror side of me, so I try and combine them with my gaming. Another question is, what little things inspire you or give you a spark each day? I think the people around me are what give me a spark and inspire me the most each day. I see what people in my life have accomplished and where they are in their life, and that's what inspires me to keep going. You know, I've seen the boy that I work with, his name is Tegan, and he has cerebral palsy, so seeing how he just has like this love of life, and even though there are things that he can't do, he will not accept that he can't do them. He will do them, and he will push himself to the limit, and that just is something that is very inspiring, especially when you're 14 years old and you have a condition like that. It's very, very hard, I think, sometimes to have a good outlook on life, but he always does. My parents inspire me every day. They have worked so hard for what they have, and they have gone through different hardships, and just seeing them come out on the end of it is amazing to me. And they do anything and everything for me and my sister, and it's just the best. My grandparents inspire me every day. My friends inspire me, and it just, those things, I think the people around me are what give me my inspiration. Another one is, what made you become a reader, or when did you become one? I've been a reader for as long as I can remember. I remember picking up books like Judy Moody, Junie B. Jones, The Magic Tree House, like stuff like that at a young age. I feel like I've never not liked reading. And when I was going through, you know, elementary school, I really loved like Tale of Desperado, Ronald Dahl books. I also really I just enjoyed reading. I liked Mary Downing Hahn. There were just a lot of books that I liked, and it was the same throughout middle school and high school. It dropped off a little when I started college because I just didn't have the time, but I've learned how to manage my time a little bit better. So yeah, that's when I became a reader. I feel like books have always I've always been drawn to them and their stories. Another one is, what made you want to start your Booktube channel? Honestly, I think what made me start my Booktube channel was I had truly felt like I had something different to bring to Booktube. I'm a very honest and vulnerable person, as I've mentioned, and my taste in books is just very wide. I have a very wide variety of taste in books. There's nothing really that I won't read or won't be convinced to read. And I feel like my personality and who I am as a person is just what made me want to start a Booktube, because I was like, you know what, there's only one Kendal, so I might as well introduce her to the world. Another one is, do I believe that Christianity should involve not reading certain books? This is a question that I've gotten before too, of like, as a Christian, what should I be reading? And I don't think I truly don't believe there's a right answer for this. As I've said before, I'm a Christian, so I still read horror. I will read books with smut in them. I will read things that like kind of, one of my favorite books of all time is My Best Friend's Exorcism, which includes an exorcism in it and stuff. I think that with this question, it truly comes down to what you feel is comfortable and what your discernment feels like. If you think that you are reading a book and you just truly feel like this is not something that you should be reading, is like, if it bothers you to read it, if you are reading it and you're like, this just feels like it's pushing some boundaries, this feels like, I don't know if God really wants me to be reading this, if you feel that discernment, then I think then that is fully okay and fully fine, and like, you shouldn't read it if that's something that is gonna cause disruptive thoughts or disruption in your relationship with God. But I'm definitely one of those people who I separate reality from what I'm reading very well. Like, I know everything that I'm reading is fiction. I know what I'm reading isn't real, and it doesn't bother me. And so I just can separate that. So as long as I feel like what I'm reading is okay for me to read, which I do, I feel like nothing that I read is disrupting my relationship with God. So I just read whatever I want with that kind of thing. So I just think that's up to the person. Another question I got is, what made you passionate about reading? Was it a specific book or something else? I think what made me passionate about reading was that I really love that somebody could create an entire world. I think it's just insane how these are words on paper. It's literally just tons of words on paper that are bonded together, and within those words it feels like a movie is playing in my head. Like, I can see everything so vividly, and I remember just reading books and being able to picture everything that was happening, and just being kind of in awe of like the fact that people can create stories out of these things. They create worlds and characters that I love and like wanted to be friends with, or wanted to be around, or wanted to date if they were, a fictional man. And I think that was a big thing, is just knowing that my imagination could take me to different worlds and different places, and connect me with different characters. That's what made me passionate about reading. Another question I got was, what's the hardest lesson you've learned in life, and how did you get there? I think the hardest lesson that I've ever learned in life is one that my dad taught me. He has said this ever since I was younger, and I would have short-term friendships, or friendships that didn't last but longer than a school year, and he always, would tell me, like, Kendal, you can't make these people love you. You can't make people like you, but you can be you, and if they like you for you, then they deserve to have you as a friend. And that was a big lesson I had to learn, is that no matter what, I can't make people see things the way that I see them. I can't make people love me. I can't make people like me. I can't make people agree with me. And that's okay. I have learned that that's okay, and that I don't have to agree with everybody to be friends with them. I don't have to see the world the same way they do. I don't have to make them like me as much as I like them. I can just be me and see where it goes from there. Another question I got was, what are you really good at and what are you bad at? I feel like I'm really good at helping people. I'm really good at understanding people. I'm a good listener. I try and give the best advice that I can. But I think that's what my biggest thing here. Like, if you would ask me like what I think my purpose and reason for being here on earth is, it would be to help people. I love being that encourager. I love giving people gifts. I just love being there for people as much as I can. That's what I think I'm good at. Something that I think I'm bad at, I think I've grown a lot. Like, I used to be really bad at having like a lot of anger and being short-tempered, but I feel like I've gotten a lot better about that. I think one thing that I'm bad about is like procrastination and time management sometimes, which I'm trying to work on. I sometimes have a hard time motivating myself to do things that I need to do instead of things that I want to do first. So I'm trying to fix that and change that around. So I would say that's probably like my biggest flaw if I had to list one. Another one is, what are your fears? One of my fears is dying. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like talking about death that much. It kind of makes me nervous, makes me a little bit scared. Death is just like a hard topic. It also brings a lot of anxiety out in me. I don't like the thought of people around me dying. So like that whole thing of just death is scary to me. And then one of my other fears is the ocean. I don't really like the ocean. I don't really like open waters. Like, I don't like lakes. I don't mind being near them. I don't mind looking at them, but I don't want to be in them. I don't want to be like, yeah, I don't want to be swimming around in them. I'm good. And the last question I got was, if you had 3 wishes, what would they be? I feel like I should use them on the whole world, right? This one is so hard. I would cure everybody who has a chronic illness. That would be one of my wishes. Everybody in the world. I would also cure world hunger, because world hunger, I just hate that that's a thing. I feel selfish for using a wish for myself. I would make sure that everybody who is homeless or in poverty, that they have a home or they're out of poverty. Those are my 3 wishes. And that's all the questions that I have. And hopefully that was kind of a good transition. I hope it was a little bit smooth. I was trying to put the questions together with my story, but I feel like I kind of did it differently. But hopefully that gives you a little insight of who I am as a person and just get to know me better. With that said, I hope you guys stick around and see some more content from me, because there's definitely more to come. And I just want to say I appreciate and love all of you that are here and have stuck around and have been here since especially the beginning and just watched me grow and encouraged me, and I just appreciate you more than you know. But I will see you guys in my next video.